I must say in all honesty that if I was told 20 years after that going to church really isn't a big deal, I would have told that person to be a liar. Like, for real, if someone had told me, now see, yeah, as a PK, you know, back then you get beaten, you get scolded, you get punished for skipping church. But coming of age and as an adult and getting to know that, at the end of the day, all those things are just rituals. It doesn't 100% spell out spirituality. Leaving church, right, does not mean that you left God. That's what I've come to realize. Okay, let's take for instance, in 2020, during the pandemic, many activities stopped, even the church activities mostly. And Nigeria, for instance, that is a church-going society, a lot of churches had to, stop activities. Did it stop us from leaving? Prior to the pandemic, it seemed as though without the church, without having to go to church, rapture can take place instantaneously. But the pandemic brought a lot of illumination to the real essence of all of these things. I'm not saying going to church is wrong or going to church is bad. I'm only saying that the emphasis that is placed on church going is not the same as creating, forming, and maintaining a relationship with God. And as a matter of fact, particularly in the Nigerian society, the emphasis on church going is higher than the emphasis of discovering yourself spiritually, right? The first emphasis later, oh, you must go to church, you must go to church, and then from going to church, from church attendance to becoming an active worker to becoming spiritual. That's like, rather, it should be the other way around. Spirituality first, when you're able to discover yourself. You don't discover God in church. As a matter of fact, that is 100% no. You discover God in yourself. And I wish by God that I had known this earlier. I wouldn't have, spent so much dedication I did in church going, in church attendance, than I should have in discovering myself spiritually. Well, 2020 was the penultimate year for me because I had to make that decision. Thanks to the COVID, of course, it made me see the different side of things, and I became less passionate, putting so much passion in church going. So in other words, all I'm just trying to say in essence to summarize this is that the fact that I left church didn't mean I left God, because the realization that God is here gives me the confidence to strengthen myself on my spiritual journey. It's all about the spiritual. After all, we're firstly spirits before we become physical. Peace.